What's going on, guys? This is Chandler Smith, and in today's video, I'm gonna talk about the biggest complaint that I get from literally all real estate investors. And that is, Chandler, no matter how hard I try, I just can't find any good deals. And this literally has been the issue since the beginning of time. And so in this video, I'm gonna talk about all the things that you need to do to keep that deal flow coming so that you can consistently find good deals in real estate. So with all of that being said, let's jump into it. All right, guys, if you're new to the channel, my name's Chandler Smith, and I've been investing in real estate for the last 7 years. I currently own 99 units of rental real estate, and I love all things real estate and real estate investing. And so in this video, I want to talk about one of the biggest issues that I personally have run into a lot, and an issue that I know every single real estate investor runs into, and that is creating a funnel that keeps consistent good real estate deals coming in your door. So if you love a great deal in real estate, make sure that you smash that like button and subscribe to the channel, and let's jump into this video where I'm gonna give you a rundown of everything that you need to know and do to ensure that you keep those good deals coming your direction. Now, one thing I want to cover right from the get-go of this video is that in real estate investing, there are only two big problems that you're going to consistently run into. The first one is creating deal flow or finding good deals. The other one is having enough money to buy more deals. Those are literally the two major issues, is either getting the money or finding the deal. And so if you're going and you're trying to find a real estate deal and you're like, oh, I finally have the money, don't be surprised when you run into this issue of, oh crap, I can't find any deals. And I know this can sound discouraging, but here's the deal. You have a professional athlete that every day is practicing his shot. He's spending time in the gym to perfect it. And it doesn't matter how much time he spends in the gym, he's never gonna get to the point where he's got a 100% shooting average. It's just not going to happen. So if you're a new investor, don't get discouraged if you're having a hard time finding deals, because it literally is a skill set. It takes lots of time, it takes lots of practice, and it's not something that's just going to come easily, just like you're not going to be able to jump into the NBA and start pounding threes 90% of the time. It's not going to happen. And so recognize you've got to consistently put in time. The other thing is, I've seen lots of investors that'll find some great deals and then their deal flow will dry up. And a lot of times it's because they've stepped away from the basics or the things that they need to consistently be doing to continue to get those deals in the door. So just understand, in this video, I'm gonna talk about a lot of basics and a lot of things that maybe you haven't heard of before, but you need to understand that all of these things are important and you need to be consistently doing them, and you need to not get discouraged or get to the point where you blame your market or some other thing for you not finding deals, because you can always find deals if you're doing the right things. And you can always get to the point where you're finding better deals than what you're finding right now. I hate the people that say, oh, you caught the market right, or you got lucky, or you had good timing. Now, there is some truth to that some of the time, but the reality is you can always be the guy that got lucky. You just need to make sure that you're doing all of the right things. So with all of that being said, let's jump into these things that you need to be doing so that you can keep those consistent good deals coming in. The first thing you need to do is understand what a good deal is. I do so many consulting calls where I get on and they say, well, Chandler, is this a good deal? And I say, well, you tell me, what's a good deal? What are you looking for? And they're like, well, it was listed at 400,000 and now it's for 350,000. So I thought that was a good deal. That is not a good deal, all right? For me, I need to get a 15% cash on cash return in a market that I know is booming and going to increase in value every single year. So those are my requirements. Now, those are very broad requirements. I'm gonna look at vacancy, I'm gonna look at the area, I'm gonna look at a myriad of other things, but I know exactly what I'm looking for, so that when I find a property in a market I'm comfortable with and it meets my criteria of a 15% cash on cash return, I buy it in a heartbeat. So first off, you need to know exactly what you're looking for, because if you don't know what you're looking for, there is no such thing as a good deal, because you won't know what it is. The next thing you need to do is you need to understand how to add value to a deal. This means you need to know what the rents are in the area. So if you see a property that's under rented, you know what you could rent it for. You also need to know what kind of renovations you could do to increase rents. You've got to understand what is required to take a property and add huge value to that property so that you can find a property that maybe other people are overlooking because they don't understand how to tweak that property so that it becomes a good deal. Now, there's a big difference between looking at a property and saying, I could probably rent that for this, so it's a good deal. No. You've got to know without a doubt that if you do this renovation at this expense, or if you go in and raise rents, that you're going to get the desired rents you need so that it is actually a good deal. I see so many investors that they buy a property, they say, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. They spend the money, but they can't get the rent increase. And now they've got a worse deal than if they would have just picked a deal at random off of the market and paid market value for it and then tried to rent it. And I know that sounds crazy, but I'm serious. There's so many people that dig a huge hole because they think they got a good deal and they think they can add value, but then they end up in a bigger hole than if they would have bought a turnkey property that's already getting a crappy return. Next step is you need to be scanning everything. That means you need to be on the MLS. That means you need to be on Craigslist. That means you need to be on a ton of Facebook groups. Anywhere that someone is listing property, you need to be always watching because sometimes you'll get a for sale by owner, or sometimes you'll get an inexperienced realtor, or sometimes you'll just get someone that puts a listing up there and you have no idea why it's so low, but it is, and you need to be the guy that jumps on it immediately. If you're the guy that can look at a deal 5 minutes after it's been posted and put in an offer for it because you know it's a fantastic deal before you've ever been in the property and you can push them to get it under contract, that is a way to get killer deals. Where you're not gonna win is if you're the guy that's thinking about it and overthinking about it and you're not sure and you don't know and you're bouncing all over and you're not consistently watching the market ready to pounce on those good deals. So when it comes to MLS, Craigslist, all of those, be the guy that's always watching or pay someone to be always watching so that you can jump on those good properties immediately. And I'll be the first one to tell you, this is not the best way to find deals. As a matter of fact, it's going to be very difficult to be that guy because you've got to have a reputation, you've got to act quickly, you've got to have your pre-approval letter, and you've got to make sure that you know where your number needs to be so that you don't overpay. But that is a way you can find good deals, and that's a way I've found good deals. One thing that really helps with this is making sure that you've got a great realtor or a couple great realtors that are constantly watching the market and immediately helping you to get in an offer because they know what you're looking for. That's where you hit that next level of success, is when not only do you know exactly what you're looking for, but you have multiple people trained to be looking for the same thing so that when it does come up, you can be the first one to jump on it and get it under contract. This segues perfectly into our next one, which is connecting with realtors and wholesalers. You need to build a relationship with these people. You need to be their go-to guy that they know you're not jerking them around. And if they bring you the perfect deal, you're going to jump on it immediately. There's so many investors, especially beginning investors, that go and waste realtors' time and waste wholesalers' time because they're like,
I just don't know if I want to buy it. Maybe show me something else, or maybe show me something different.
Those people suck for realtors. And I know realtors already have an easy job. No offense, but if you're gonna be one of those guys that yanks them all over and never buys a property, you're never going to be on their priority list because guess what? If they know you are gonna drag them through the mud and probably not going to buy the deal, but they know if they find a good deal and they put it in front of me, they're gonna have an offer within 5 minutes because I can scan the numbers, I know what I'm looking for, and I'm gonna get it under contract. Who do you think they're gonna send that deal to? It's always going to be to me. So connect with multiple realtors, know what you want, help them know what you want, and make sure that they know you're going to jump on it immediately if the numbers work and it meets your criteria. The next thing you need to do is get super connected in your area. That means going to real estate investing groups. That means getting on Facebook groups. That means going to any events that are offered with real estate investors. That means building relationships with different investors. Cold calling them, saying, hey, I saw that you owned this property. I just want to know how it's going. I'm a local investor. I'd love to get to know you better. I'd love to connect. I'd love to be here if you decide to sell that property. I'd love to take you out to lunch. Whatever it is, get as connected as you can with as many people as you can. Show up to those groups. Be in the loop with other investors. Be the guy that builds that relationship, that takes as many people as you can out to lunch and is consistently connecting with other big investors in your area, so that if they decide to sell or they need to do a 1031 exchange or a property comes up that they can't afford, it's going to be referred to you because they're like, hey, I met that Chandler guy. He was pretty cool. He knew what he was talking about. He seems like a guy that would jump on it. And it sounds like he's going to own a portfolio in the future. So this would be good for my relationship with him. I'm going to send this deal to him, or I'm going to see if he wants to buy this property. Just do everything you can to be that guy and to get connected in your area. I just want to add to this that cold calling can be a huge option. I can't tell you how many good connections I've made because I'll just see a random property and I'll say, hey, I want to know who owns this property. I'll call them up and I'll say, hey, I saw you owned this property. Are you interested at all at potentially selling? They say no, and I say, well, hey, you must own a couple of properties in the area. Do you own any others that you might consider selling? They're going to say, I've got this one and that one, but I'm probably not going to sell. Obviously, I'd sell for the right price. And I'm going to say, awesome. Would there be an opportunity for us to maybe go and grab lunch? I'd love to get to know you better. I own some properties in town and it's always good to be connected. Love to take you out and buy you lunch. Or if not, I'd love to just know more about what you do and maybe spur on the conversation from there, or see if you can set up another time to pick their brain and connect with them. Ask them if they're part of any real estate investing groups. Ask them who mentored them, how they got into it. Pet their pride, build a relationship so that you can build off of that relationship and create more relationships, or eventually create another funnel down the road so that they can filter you properties. There's nothing wrong with cold calling the owners, and I promise you it will end up being a huge benefit if you make a connection that you can use down the road. Or a connection you can use right then because maybe that's the time they want to sell. Now, I want to move into some of my favorite ways to find deals, but before I do that, I want to share a couple other ways to create deal flow that I personally haven't used, but I probably should be using. These are things like flyering, knocking doors. Now, I know you're saying, Chandler, you knock a ton of doors. I do, but not for real estate. Going and knocking single family homes, I've heard of a lot of people having huge success with that. You can also do online advertising in different Facebook groups. There's so many different ways to try and get creative and create more leads. And so there's nothing wrong with using those, even though I personally haven't used them. So those are all some other options, but now I want to segue into some of my favorite ways that I've used to find deals. The first one is social media. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, Chandler, you've got a YouTube channel, you've got an Instagram, both of those you've built up over the last couple of years. That's true, but it is not hard to build a following because you don't even necessarily need a following. You just need more connections. And so on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, work hard to post about your passion for real estate investing. When you see a cool meme that talks about real estate investing, share it and share a little thought that says, oh, I love real estate investing. I'm looking for properties. If you do it, let me know. I'd love to connect. All right, something like that just puts you out there. And if you're constantly in Facebook groups with other real estate investors in your area, you can continue to add them as friends, to follow them, to see what they're doing. And you're going to build this group of connections where it only takes 1,000 to 2,000 connections to have a ton of people that are seeing your stuff and saying, hey, he's a guy that's looking for real estate. Next time I've got a good deal, maybe I should flip it to him. And so social media for me has been huge. I can't tell you how many deals have come my way from my YouTube channel, from Instagram, from Facebook, because people know I'm a guy that if a good deal comes, I'm going to buy it. And so do whatever you can to get a social media presence. And even if you don't like social media, talk to people about it. Let people know that you have a passion so that when they think real estate investing or there's a deal or there's somebody that's selling a property, the first person they think of is you. Now, I've talked about a ton of different ways to create deal flow and to find good deals in real estate, but I'll tell you the most important thing you can do is build good relationships. Don't be the guy that's consistently burning bridges. Be the guy that's connecting with multiple realtors, multiple wholesalers, multiple real estate investors, and just everyone in your area. Be the guy that people know as just a nice guy that loves investing in real estate, that if they do business with you, they know things are going to go well. I am consistently working to reach out to people that are involved in investing in real estate, regardless of whether they've brought me value or not, because I know down the road they will. And even if they don't, I know that that's a connection that in one way or another we both will benefit from. And so if you can do everything in your power to get connected in your area, and this is another reason I always push people to invest where they're living, and if they can't, to move to an area where they can, because those connections are so valuable. If I'm in a scenario where I know a realtor has found an off-market fourplex, is he going to give that to an investor that's living out in California, or give it to me when we both have created a relationship with him and I'm consistently following up? He knows me, he lives in the same town as me, he knows my kids. I mean, odds are he's going to flip that good deal to me before he's going to flip it to someone else that lives somewhere else, or someone else that lives locally that hasn't worked to build that relationship and stay consistent. So not only do you need to build the relationships, not only do they need to be real, and you need to consistently do the right things to not burn those bridges, but you also need to be someone that they know if they bring you this golden deal that you're going to jump on it, all right? There's nothing worse you can do to, well, that's not true. There are lots of really bad things you could do, but there's nothing worse you can do than getting a connection with a realtor, telling him you'll buy it if he brings it in and it meets your criteria, having him bring you this golden deal on a golden platter, and having you jerk him around and decide to not go through with the deal. And unfortunately, I've had situations like that, and it hurts those relationships. It eliminates your ability to get good deals in the future unless you do a lot of hard work to rebuild that relationship. So make sure that they know you are a man or woman of your word. And if they bring you a good deal, you're going to jump on it and consistently build those relationships. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, Chandler, this doesn't sound passive at all. And here's what I will tell you. When you are creating a passive income, the front end is not passive. I'm constantly treating this like an active job where I'm building those relationships, I'm looking for deals, and I'll be honest, there are times where I'm working really hard at it, and there are times I let off the gas and my deal flow starts to dry up. So consistently do what's required, and I promise you, if you do, you will find those good deals. But please do not bend on your criteria. If you've looked at your market, you've looked at your situation and said, this is my criteria, and I promise if you do, eventually those good deals will come. Just make sure whoever you're working through understands what that criteria is. Now, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you push the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the little bell. And if you liked the way that I presented this, and if you found it helpful, just know that down below I've included a link for my real estate investing course, where there's over 8 hours of content showing you how to find deals, how to buy deals, how to increase your deal flow, and everything else you need to know to go from 0 doors of rental real estate to over 100 doors of rental real estate. And if you use the link below, you can get $50 off of this course. And I promise you, I have worked so hard to make this course worth every dime that you spend. So if you want more help on how to find deals, on how to go through the entire process of buying real estate, make sure you click the link below. I promise it will be well worth your money. And if there is anything in that course that you don't have that you wanted, let me know in a message and I'll get it added. I've worked so hard to make sure that the real estate investing course is bomb. Now, again, if you like this video and you're not buying the course, that's awesome. I'm going to continue to put awesome content on this channel, but the course just breaks everything down for you step by step so that you know how to do the entire process start to finish. Now, again, if you enjoyed the video, push the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the future videos where my goal is to help you to build a huge passive income. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.